Peace, peace, peace. Mine Ascension here, walking the earth with the fellow god, the neophyte, now Hierophant. Peace to my 6 to 22 strand, 7 to 9 ether, you melanin selenium-based black gods of this planet.
Peace to the family.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. But we out here walking the earth, basking in the loss of humans. And my brother wanted to definitely exchange information, thought processes, and light, and get down to the inquiries and get down to the questioning. So, my brother, let me know, man. What are we talking about right now? What is our current exchange of neurons and light?
Well, I'll get straight to the point. I've always wondered, because we talk about the morality and the immorality of murder and killing and so on and so forth. Now, we can go in circles about that stuff all day. But what I'm interested in all of a sudden, what crossed my mind, was how that affects us spiritually on how does the act of killing affect your spirit? Does that truly weigh down on your soul and make you change the entire fabric of your being?
Well, first and foremost, now let's understand, the only thing that can technically affect your frequency would be your so-called level of integrity. Because remember, right now what you're really talking about is remorse. Okay, what's the other word I'm looking for that they use?
Conscience, you could say.
Oh yeah, you can say conscience. I'm not necessarily talking about that, but yes, you can say that too. But we're talking about something, remorse, reluctance, what's the other one? Empathy. These are the things that usually will create a mindset that will hesitate based on certain behaviors, mannerisms, and acts that seem to go against one's integrity and one's so-called morality. But once again, we also have to remind ourselves that morality is based on our conditioning. Morality is cultivated through the ego. Mannerisms are cultivated through the ego. And once again, people hear the word ego and automatically think of the only negative perspective to ego. But just like everything in existence, ego has a polarity. Now, that's an excellent question, because honestly, it's not the act. It's not the act that can distort or change your vibration, your frequency, or like you mentioned, your spirit. But it's actually the integrity that you are, how would you say, what's the word I'm looking for? The integrity that you're jeopardizing. Because think about it. There's people every day who commit atrocities and genocide and murder and feel nothing.
Yes, absolutely.
Therefore, nothing is taken. But then there's also people that will argue whether that person has a spirit in the first place, or whether that person has a soul in the first place.
Right.
So I say yes. I say yes, certain acts, certain behaviors can distort the energy. But once again, that only takes effect based on your mind. Because if I look at all human beings as conscious energy, then killing a human being is not necessarily a bad or a good. It's just like me turning off a light.
Right.
But then if I'm more human, because what stops a so-called divine being or a god from what we call unnecessary killing is the necessity. Because many times people kill not because they have to. They kill because they can, or they kill from a humanistic, egotistical greed and other aspects of the human. So in actuality, the more I'm talking to you about this, killing is really a human thing. It really is a human thing. Because remember, on the higher levels of divine beings, we understand that there's only energy, and therefore energy cannot be what?
Cannot be destroyed.
Cannot be destroyed. So what are you really killing? What are you really killing?
Just the physical vessel.
You're just killing the physical vessel. You're killing the organism. You're killing the bacterial perspective that builds the body.
So now if we're gonna look at it like that now, the spirit, what happens to that spirit once the physical vessel is destroyed? It just moves on to a different spot?
Well, understand that the spirit, or what we refer to as soul, is connected to the element of water. So your spirit can absorb your acts, your intentions, your thought process, and your consciousness. This is why we refer to many people as old souls, new souls, and so on and so forth. So when we talk about what happens to the spirit, we're talking about that spirit absorbing that act, absorbing that consciousness, absorbing that intention, because it's really the intention that gives the power and intention that distorts the power. You see what I'm saying?
I
So
agree with that.
the spirit, since it's basically energy in itself, it's only transformed from one state to the next, but it also absorbs and it also consumed, yes, the experience and the energy, because technically the experience through a human perspective is the actual act you're doing.
Yeah.
But on a higher level, the experience is the energy that you're witnessing. Because what is experience? The energy that you are witnessing within that moment. A human will go, that experience was I got robbed. That experience was I got beat up. That experience was I got my heart broken. But no, you experience the loss or the gain of an energy or the distortion of an energy, and you are witness to it. And being witness to it, depending on how you absorbed it, dictate on what you decided to conclude and describe it as or define it as. So put it to you like this. One human who's homeless and destitute, their experience with me giving them 50 cents will go beyond anything me and you can fathom, because me and you look at 50 cents like it's nothing. So therefore, we can all have the same experience, but yet it's not the same energy dictated by our mindset and dictated by our own intentions, our own cultivation in life.
Intention changes the energy.
Yes. So the spirit absorbs everything. The soul is the vehicle for the accumulation of so-called lifetimes and cycles. So yes, your spirit will absorb those things. But once again, it's about the consciousness and intentions of the individual that is committing that act. You know, you're going into something that I don't go into too much, but I would love to, which is this thing that I hear a lot of people talk about, which is karma. But here's the funny part about that. Karma has become a religious perspective to many, because we say things like, oh, your karma's gonna come and get you, or your karma's gonna come and do this, or your karma's gonna go to do that. But what are we initially really talking about? We're really talking about the law of cause and effect expanded to a religious view. Because what are you saying when you say karma? Do something bad and something bad will happen to you?
Yeah.
But wait a second, we have elitists all over the world who've been committing genocide for decades to centuries, and who are still living in the same vessel, peacefully, richly, wealthy, okay? So when does their karma hit? Is karma something that happens when you die? Like going to meet Jesus?
Or going to see the devil.
You see what I mean? So karma in itself is based on a religious perspective, because cause and effect has no good or bad to it. Cause and effect, perfect example. I kill the baby, I drink the baby's blood. Now I look more youthful than I looked before I drank the baby's blood. You go, ew, that's sick and that's terrible and that's nasty. But guess what? That's my 37th baby. And I'm still chilling. And you still poor. So karma is similar, like waiting for Jesus. Because the people who are still poor and doing the highest deeds are waiting for their karma. But people are in the highest quality of living and doing the lowest deeds have no worries of karma. Their only focus is the law of cause and effect, which if I do this deed, I will receive this energy. That's why, who cares about you saying the name of Lucifer or invoking the energy of Christ? So, the point is, if everything is only energy, transformed and never destroyed, then judging the taking of a life based on either necessity, here we go. Isn't it funny that you can see me murder an old lady, And you'll go, oh my God, Mind Ascension, how could you do that? That's an old lady. I knew you were crazy. I knew you were a devil worshiper. And then I turn around and tell you, hey, this old lady raped my son and killed my daughter. Am I now justified in her murder? As a human, don't you look at me as I'm justified now to kill this woman?
We now have a conversation going.
I'm just saying, because it's the act and it's the result of someone else's behavior that dictates whether my murderous intent is justified. And once it's justified, now it becomes good? Now it becomes righteous? So wait a second. There's times within existence where murder is righteous, correct? Is that right?
Well, it's funny because that word would be used incorrectly in that context because, as they say, murder is.
Oh, so I got to change the name. So killing can be righteous.
Yes.
But murder, technically defined, is something different, so I can't call it righteous.
No.
Ah. So you see, what would they call those? And oh, are we